depend on my parents especially. And first we decided to look for a rented house, which is very close to where we work in Kuala Lumpur. So we were looking, and we wanted to rent a place because financially we're not stable enough to buy a house. So we thought renting a home is better. So we felt that staying in condominium is safer because both of us are deaf, my husband and myself, and in all condominiums it's guarded, we have the security guard and so forth. But we also felt that by renting a place, in comparison to having our own property, we're just paying the rental fee, and of course the money goes to the rented house. Like for example, if it's 1,000 ringgit, and so in the future the house doesn't belong to us. We only pay to stay there. So in effect that the house does not belong to us and all that. But if we buy a house and pay the same amount that we would have paid for a rented house, the mortgage, then after 20 years the house belongs to us. And we could sell it away, sell it off and get the profits and maybe buy another house. So in looking at these two models, we felt that buying a house, staying there and paying for the mortgage is much better. But in buying or deciding to buy a house, first, both my husband and myself, we have to decide on the budget, how much he's earning and how much I'm earning, and how much we can afford to pay for a house. For example, if both of us are earning a salary of 80,000 and below, and then we calculated. So it was looking like at one time in Main Valley, there were several developments going on. And one of the developers was Qistina. It was a beautiful condo, but it was all very expensive. So we had a very short discussion and we said we'll come back to that later. And so we decided that we wanted to look for an advisor to help us in terms of bank loans and so forth. And so we found, we located a bank, MBSB, the one, the blue house, and the logo with the blue house. So we started asking them, if both of us would apply for a loan to purchase a house for our first time house. Oh, you're deaf? Really? And so I asked them why did they want to know whether we are deaf or not. Then they said, oh, because you're deaf, you can't apply for a loan. We apologize for that. So I was wondering why, and I asked them. They said, oh, because both of you are deaf, we don't trust you. So that made us very awkward. So I asked, is it because of the deafness that made you awkward? What was the reason? We only wanted to buy a house and we informed you that we have a certain loan. So they asked, do you have a brother, a sibling who is hearing? And she said, no. And I told her, no, all my family members are deaf. And my husband's side, he's the only son, so he has no other siblings. And his parents are very old. They're not eligible for loans. And the officer asked if I have hearing friends. And I said, no, I don't have. I mean, not to say don't have, but not those ones. I said, then she said, okay, hold on, let me talk to the higher management. They said, okay, they will accept, sure. You really sure that after listening to us that you will accept our application? So we wrote in, and they asked us for our EPF application. Is this our first house or a second home, or if we want to buy a new house or a second hand house? And she advised us on the budget that we could afford to, and so forth. So once that's done, so I went to look again somewhere in Jalan Ipoh. Houses which have already been developed, but most of the developers that I went, they say that it's all fully occupied or fully booked. The only one available is like second hand. But this lady whom I spoke to, she says that to buy a new house from a developer rather than second hand, because the process to get a loan is better than a house that's already owned by other people. Well, after looking unsuccessfully, we remembered where Seda was. I mean, the company Seda, the developer Seda, did some of the new housing areas. And so we went to we went to this developer in Selayang. Selayang. Some of the condos there. So we wanted to look at some of the houses that's available, the condos that's available there. So we discussed. We said that that's a good place after discussing with the officer. And then we met the rate group. Then I asked them a few questions, and I showed them about the bank letter. They said, I was advised about the bank loans and what is the best. And then of course I inquired about like 100% of deposit and what other payments we're supposed to pay. And I said I cannot pay the 10% because this one, the MBSM or MRS, said I must pay it. MBSB. So I felt that it was a little bit confusing with what I was told earlier and the Ray Properties that I went. So Ray Properties taught me, gave me a lot of tips on purchasing a house. So we did all the negotiation, the discussion via writing. And they also taught me about the sale and purchase agreement and